freaking out that the Chinese government is going to start like spying on everyone.
Already happened.
It's already happened.
Yeah,
All this spy talk, I don't care. Like, if everyone knows what everyone's doing, what are they gonna catch someone doing?
Just do boring shit.
Do y'all have tape of me like cheese out between the keys?
Yeah.
It's not.
Do boring shit. Like with my camera, I do boring shit.
There's also no way they go through all of it.
No, yeah.
Unless it's something certain they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
Unemployment will be at 0.
Minority Report, they would see you commit the crime and
100%.
you know.
Yeah.
Say, oh, we got all your shit, you know.
Yeah.
We've been watching you for years.
They
That's the scary part. And then start pulling shit out of what you did. That's crazy.
I wouldn't even mind. I would be okay with everyone in the world knowing all the weird shit that I do, except for my mom. I wouldn't want her knowing.
She knows. She's seen before you saw yourself. He's gonna be.
She thinks I'm normal.
Mom's.
I don't think so. I think like she's like, oh my.
No. Also, one of us has to see. One time.
How much do you see?
So like I can't tell you like what color eyes you have,
Okay.
but like most things, it's mainly like details. I can't like read like whitish. Like you're not like full black, right? Like, I think you're someone who like could be mixed but could not be mixed at the
No,
same time.
Jimmy's dark chocolate dark.
Yeah, I saw a dark skinned guy. I was like, damn, I'm not that dark. I was like, he was like I'm in the what is the Werther's original?
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like
You're not that
in the
light.
middle.
You're not that light.
no, you're like the perfect cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Black
Yeah.
with just the right amount of
There we go.
cream. You know,
That's
that's your color.
Okay.
I feel like we use like desserts a lot to describe black people. Like my mom used to say like mocha a lot.
Yeah.
Mocha.
Yeah.
Mocha's
It's like
okay.
almost offensive. I
Mocha,
don't know.
vanilla,
Yeah.
That's sweet. I think that's nice.
white chocolate.
I've heard someone say I have like a chocolate chip cookie that's just like baked right. That's the color of mine.
You're a soft chocolate chip cookie.
I like that. I'm okay with it.
Do you consider that a disability? Being blind?
It is a
Is it?
disability. Yeah.
Like yours.
So this is what. Yeah. Do you consider being blind a disability?
Or does it make you
It's like
stronger?
one of the main
I was trying to leave it out.
disabilities. Can you consider someone in a wheelchair having a disability?
No.
No, that's the weird part about it is mine's like sort of.
Mhm.
So it's like a lot of people either think I'm faking it or people treat me like I literally can't see anything.
Mm.
So it's like a weird in between because like there are things that I can't do, but at the same time I don't want to be like belittled or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like if I couldn't see guys that well, I'd also sleep with a lot of guys because like why not? You don't know what.
Yeah, I think I'd do that regardless, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's you love like tall dudes with like weird faces, yeah.
Great.
Fuck. And so
Like right before moving here.
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
How's it going?
hang out. Podcast.
Do you ever act more blind?
Though that I have realized, like looking at a picture of myself, looking at my, oh my god, I am blind.
But the worst part was he's like, oh my god, my mom has an eye thing also, and I was just like, don't ask me anything.
Yeah,
You know.
that's funny.
Oh man, how long you been doing comedy?
Like 2 years.
2 years.
Almost 2 years.
You
Yeah.
from New York? You're New York?
No, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I started there.
Started in Tennessee.
Yeah, and so then I moved here in June. So I've been doing it here for.
That's why she likes the city.
Yeah,
It's not for me.
I
Yeah.
am still in like my romance period with the city.
Let me ask you a question. I went on I went to a movie with a person,
A female, you can say
a
it.
female, and
You can go to the movies with a guy. Come on.
I know, but
I wouldn't, but I just wouldn't. And she was like, yeah, I took the yellow train here, and I was like,
Oh God.
what? What the fuck are you talking about? It was like you could tell people who are from out of town that they call the trains by the colors.
Yeah, well, she's just an idiot, but yeah.
I don't even know what the yellow train is. What train would that
The
be?
QR.
Oh.
Like different lines have
That's
colors.
ridiculous.
Like people
Yeah.
outside of New York call them by the colors.
No, you
people
see
say.
the letter.
But they-
You would just
yeah.
say the letter.
Yeah.
No, that's
They're
what I'm
limited
saying.
numbers.
It makes sense to us because we
Yeah.
see it every day. But outside, like when she said it, I was like, "That's the goofiest shit ever." I
That's-
can't have you walking out in the world.
I think that's something I've like in my head been like, okay, the 1 and 2 is red or
Right.
whatever, but like I've never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is in Boston. It's just from Boston. It's like the red line, the blue line. DC.
Color.
Yeah, it's
I
all
think
colors.
everywhere else is colors. Maybe is that right? Or
I don't know about everywhere else.
because New York has one of the biggest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like-
mass transit,
I guess-
subway
guess with
systems.
China, I
Yeah, I'm
guess,
trying to
right?
think.
I mean, London has a big underground.
Yeah,
Japan
but-
has a big subway
And
system.
London is.
Yeah.
But it's like very proper. I agree with you.
Like, the July.
They call it for short.
But maybe we're the idiots for using letters and numbers.
There's just too many trains though, and they all go different places. You need to know, like the Q goes to a different place than the
Right.
R.
And we
Yeah.
assume it's in English, right?
Yeah. What?
Wait,
The
what?
letter- the letter trains are in English. It's
Yeah, they're definitely
so
English.
Majority of people don't speak.
Well,
what if you have
English?
somebody who's like,
There's an N in Spanish.
Yeah, yeah.
And a bunch of other like, French, probably.
I was trying to learn. What was I learning that annoyed the fuck out of me? Korean. Korean's a stupid fucking language.
Yeah.
Like the three Chinese. Chinese is the best one because it's just cut and dry.
Which
and,
Mandarin and Cantonese?
I believe Mandarin. Mandarin and Japanese is dope too.
Yeah.
Just-
None of the Asian languages I want to
Yeah,
learn.
Vietnamese is like, go fuck yourself.
What were you learning these for?
Well, I do this thing where I learn the language of the girl that I date.
I was just about to say, were you learning it to go to the movies with
Yeah,
someone?
for the girl. Like if she says, "Oh, I'm this," I'm like, "All right," and my brain will tune in, like, "Hey, you should learn a little bit." Just
Yeah.
To be like, hey, I
Ni
know
So
how."
it sounds like you like
So,
Asian girls.
Yeah, like, I do like Asian girls, very much so. So, that, but I don't. Chinese is my favorite.
Alan, you should have been here yesterday. Jimmy was like, if anyone brings an Asian girl here, they get a free mic for a
I
month.
always say that. I always say it. That's not new. That's it.
Oh.
I just reiterate, just
Yeah.
because, just in case
Just to
you guys-
remind people.
Yeah, just in case you guys forgot.
One of my best friends is an Asian woman, but I think she has too much self-respect to come here. honestly. She works for Google, like she's doing well.
What's her birthday?
Oh, it's sometime in July.
Gemini, Cancer.
She's chill.
Cancer. Is
I'm-
she chill?
I'm July
Yeah,
19th.
she's
Chill.
chill.
That's what you say when you don't want to introduce your friends to a piece of shit. She's chill. She's good.
She's okay.
She's,
Don't worry
she
about
reads
her.
books.
That's the funny thing about New York. Though is everyone seems to have like an important job, like Google or J.P. Morgan, but like you never know like what they do. Like they could be a
Yes.
janitor, you know?
Yeah, it depends. There's like phases. What's up? Of people. Like in the morning, it's all construction workers
Yeah.
and maids and the secretaries. And
Yeah.
then in the afternoon, it's like the hipsters running around with their bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And then at night, it's like the artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's how the city is. And I see the morning and the night people.
Yeah, I'm like adjacent to a lot of successful people because I nanny for really rich people, and then like a lot of my friends work at Google. But they're like their jobs are like non-descriptive titles like marketer, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. But
yeah.
it's not, and
It's
they
like, what do you
never go
really
to
do?
work.
Exactly.
Like,
They
what do you
never go to
really
work.
do?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, if you're getting drunk with me on a Tuesday, like what? And they're
You
just
don't
like,
have a
we just
job."
work from
Yeah.
home. But I'm like, I don't understand. Google's crazy. Like they get vacations
Google
constantly.
launders money.
Well, yeah.
This is the thing. If
They
you
need an
have
excuse how to spend all this drug money.
if you have an important job, you're not getting work from home days, okay? Like the real workers, like they have to be in the office for like 10 hours and shit.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think Google just has so many employees that are like just in their like mid-20s that I don't know what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also there's a problem with like the actual office space itself. Like Google has so many employees that they don't have a big enough space to put all their employees. So they just bought this multi-billion-dollar thing down by the Holland Tunnel, and they're
Yeah.
redoing all this
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah, so that they can have more office space. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Facebook is,
Freelance.
Facebook is moving over on.
Freelance employees don't have to be where they're not required to be in a certain amount of hours, and a lot of them they hire them freelance so they don't have to pay benefits.
There you go.
Yeah, well they're not, but yeah, like a good amount of people I know, I'm just like, I don't understand what you do at Google. Cause like, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You're a nanny?
Yes.
How long have you done that?
Since I moved here.
2 years?
Yeah, no. So I've done comedy for 2 years, but I've only lived here since June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like richer people have, I don't say young white women, Is that fair?
Yeah,
The richer you are, the more educated the nanny, I guess.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
Yes, like because they were like academic people too, and like they like to like have discussions with their nannies. Like they want their nanny to be like stimulating about social issues too, and they love that I'm blind. Oh my god, they think it's like the coolest thing. They're like, our nanny's blind, so. Figured it out.
Yeah, you made it.
Sherlock
Working it
Holmes.
out. Good job. You made it. You win nothing, but.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, get out.
Yeah, keep everybody out. That's your job. That's our new security. Yeah, what I thought about nannying for like a split second. We don't jump into the period. Like, hey, I need a quick job. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want that problem.
There's
Also,
isn't
they
there
don't pick guys.
I don't think they would.
I've seen a lot of guys like nannies, but they're all like ex-models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I wanted to nanny for a really.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I'm great with kids.
You're
Like
like,
I'm
yes.
really fantastic with children,
Yeah.
and nobody will let me near the kids.
No.
To have that certain
Yeah.
level of douchey in you to be a man.
I'm scared. Like a lot, babies love me. Like
Yeah.
I'll be on the subway and they
I would
smile.
definitely not leave a kid with you.
And they
Exactly.
laugh at me. They laugh at me. And I want to like make faces and stuff, but then I see the mom. I'm like, better not.
It's that
Yeah.
Bill Burr bit where he's like, I used to love making faces at kids in mine, and now you can't do it anymore because people will think you're a creep.
Yeah.
I want to be a nanny for like a little Asian kid, like with super rich parents.
Yeah. They
Super
take.
rich.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say
Super
superpowers.
Super rich.
They like he's 19 months old and has a reading
No,
list.
I don't need that problem.
Yeah, and it's like he can't
19
read.
months.
Like I don't understand this.
If you get lost, I need you not to cry. I need you
Yeah.
not to. Yeah.
And most of it, and I'm like, so it's a boy, and I'm like, this kid is gonna grow up to rape people, like
Yeah.
because they literally treat him like he's like a genius. He's 19 months old. They're like, he's a little engineer. I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He's just figuring out what blocks are, like, and that's why he looks curious.
Do you
Like,
think he's stupid though? Honestly?
no, he'll be smart,
Yeah.
but
That's the worst part too. Is like
entitled.
there's
like,
a kid. A lot of time, kids they're just like born dumb. They're never gonna get smart. But their parents like pressure them so much to be smart that they like panic when they're older and they're like shit. They have to come to the realization that they're dumb, and then they have to like tell their parents they're dumb and they want to do like a dumb job too.
yeah.
That sucks.
Most
Alvin
of being a
Kwame.
nanny is just pretending that you're as into the kid as the parents.
That's the parents. Yeah.
Because they'll just like talk about it. I'm like, you realize like y'all are really into this because you created him,
Mm.
and like he's a fine kid, but like I don't care that much. I hope they don't watch this.
People.
There's no way they
I've
will.
gotten so many people fired with this podcast. Like, hey, you see that movie Prodigy? There's a couple of these movies coming out about scary little white boys.
Yeah.
Who, that's the theme. They come out like every so amount of years. The Prodigy is about this super smart little kid, and he's terrifying the parents.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's smart, but we're so scared of him.
Yeah.
And I was like, he needs a black mom. That's how you nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
Like there are no whoopings going on. There's no spankings. He was under the bed with scissors. Yeah, right. You're right.
The point of the movie was like he's supposed to be the devil, right?
No, he's a psychopath. This was not. They made another one. They have one.
That-
There's another one about
He's
this.
the devil. This kid is he's just super smart. He's a psychopath.
That'd be hilarious if it turns out it was just like a regular white baby and it was just like how everyone views like how the parents
Yeah.
treat the kid. He's not actually smart at all.
I wish Jordan Peele would make a movie.
Yeah.
Dude, Jordan Peele just made a documentary about Loretta Bobbitt, the woman that cut her
Did he?
man's dick off. Yeah, it's supposed to come out. It comes out the day after Valentine's Day.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Friday?
Fucking
Yeah.
business. What's up? Where does black people come from? I don't know.
Black History Month.
I think I'm gonna lock the door and make this the most diverse mic. This is the most diverse this mic is.
We've
It's
got
literally
two
half-
women.
Black people are the majority in this room right now.
Yeah, lock that door, Mike. Lock that door. This is the mic. What's the other movie called? Brightburn.
What's that?
It's about the other crazy white kid who's a superhero.
Oh, okay.
He's murdering everybody because he doesn't control his powers.
Sounds about right.
Still no black parents. No black parents. I don't,
Did you see the daughter of the BTK killer put out a book called "Being a Daughter of a Serial Killer."
That would be crazy.
Isn't that interesting? Like, she grew up when she was 20 years old. Her dad was arrested for killing 10 people and went to prison.
Not a lot anymore, right?
I mean, I guess, but he would
It
go
is when
into
it's your
houses.
How many
dad.
people has your dad killed?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good.
I couldn't get into Canada one time. That's all I'm saying.
What did she say it was like?
Well, I mean, she's a big dummy. I was watching these like trailers for this book. She put out a bunch of trailers, and she's like a big dummy. But it's just really interesting to see. No, not at all. I mean, you should see her dad's horrific. I mean, her dad looks like a serial killer. You know, he looks like the kind of guy that goes into a house, ties up a whole family, and then chokes them to death with plastic bags.
I feel like a
Got
lot of
those
serial
remarks.
killers end up
Okay.
being handsome.
Specific.
That's what he did. I mean,
I feel like a lot of serial killers, they're handsome, right?
A
Sometimes.
lot of people thought Ted Bundy was hot. Yeah.
but
Yeah, I
is
get
he
it, but
exactly?
that's like
See,
the
Yeah,
We got
Dahmer
James-
too. Dahmer I would have.
Dahmer's more
Yes.
attractive.
Dahmer
Yeah.
was a good looking guy.
But Dahmer's gay though. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
you can still be hot if you're gay.
I know. That's not what I'm saying.
He's
It's like-
gay, so
Fucking Doug.
Doug's
Thumbs
like,
up by
yeah, the
the
killing's
way.
bad, but he was gay. Yeah, I feel like also it's like people look at them and they're like, wow, this is a guy who really knows what he wants, and you're just like, you look up to him.
well, that's why it's okay. Well, maybe you do, but
No, not like that.
I think that it's crazy when they're attracted because then they're really a psychopath. I mean, like, it's crazy to rape and murder people in general, but like with Ted Bundy, it's like you would have done fine, you know?
Who's the guy that killed the Holloway chick?
Natalie Holloway. Oh shit!
Oh,
I
yeah,
know this
Swedish
guy.
guy?
Abortion.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
doing the
Chuck-
coolest shit.
Chuck something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Vander.
Yes.
Vander
Yes.
Snoei. Like, I know this is
Say it, say it.
Vandersloot, that's it.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Vandersloot.
Vandersloot.
Norm Macdonald talks
Hi.
about it.
Okay,
Oh,
that's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
he does, yeah.
Too, I think. But, Vandersloot. He was cool as hell.
Yeah,
He's
he was
like
hot.
he's a guy you just hang out with.
Yeah.
Here's what I did. I was thinking about one day, I was like, what if I tried to get some of the most wanted people, right? The FBI Princess Most Wanted list, and I was like, which one could I get so I can get the reward, right? It was like the first three are like cartel and people you don't want to fuck with. But then like the second row are like college kids who just partying in Miami. It was like last seen in Miami holding a party. I was like, I can catch Chad. I was like, can I go get this fucking guy? He just killed a girl. You know.
Can we make a documentary where you go and try to catch
Catching
America's
Chad.
Most Wanted?
Yeah.
I love like the last. I was like, I can. He was a professor, and he's still at large. He killed his whole family. And I was like, I don't want to fuck with that guy. I want a
Yeah.
guy who did some drug shit.
You don't want a smart guy.
Yeah.
You're playing
A
chess with.
mastermind.
I want somebody who's like, look, if you let me turn you in, we'll split the money, and I'll send it
That's
to you.
why I love why you were doing it was just for the reward. Like, and you go from doing that to looking for a nanny job. Like this is how you're earning extra
I'm a
cash.
Pisces. This world in here is like, hey, do what we can, all right?
I
I'm
don't even
doing a
know what
podcast at 3 o'clock in the back of a bar. This isn't a big idea shit here. Off of two phones.
I feel like it would be fun to like track some. I love those movies where like the serial killer, someone's smart, and there's one police detective who's like too involved, and they're playing like this like head games with each other, and they're almost like each other's like best friend in a weird way. You know what I'm
They
talking
have
about?
very
Yeah.
intimate
They have
relationships.
relationships.
Yeah,
I finally finished watching Ocean's 8.
Oh, yeah.
And I started and stopped it 4 times.
Yeah, I've
Because I
never
wasn't
watched those
good, or-
movies.
Yeah, but the relationship she had with the detective
Was like that.
was like that.
Yeah.
And they should have explored that more. But
Catch Me If You Can.
I did like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
I love that.
That's good. What else? This is the part where hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are
What the hell
you?
you guys doing here? We were just talking about you.
Yeah.
You're a comic?
I'm coming.
You're a comic?
I'm
just hanging out. Audience?
Yeah.
This is the podcast before the mic. You from out of
Oh.
town or in town?
I'm from Queens.
Queens,
Yeah.
have a seat.
Oh my goodness, me
She
too.
runs a mic. She runs a. You do
What's your
casting.
name?
I co-hosted sometimes, yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Hetty.
Hetty, yeah, have a seat.
Thank
know.
you. Is there a sign up sheet yet? or-
Not yet,
Okay.
not yet. And it's about 10 minutes.
We're just relaxing right now.
Just chilling. We're waiting for food to come.
Cool.
Nice.
Did you say you're from Queens too?
No, I
Jimmy,
lied.
you're It's fine. Just talk.
Yeah, just talk.
just
we're
podcast.
live on the
I'm so
podcast.
sorry, I didn't
No, you
think
fucked
so.
everything up. We got to start all over again.
so
Now the
sorry.
mic is gonna start late.
Jimmy,
But it's good
what?
that we know that you're from Queens.
Yeah, you came right on time because I drew a blank. So you saved the day.
We're all wondering where is she from?
Yeah, where's she
Got
from?
it.
Yeah.
Why is it you have instead of like a podcast?
Because I got here every day and I was like, before it was on Monday, and I was like, I had this break in between the bar was open and I wanted to do a podcast. And I was like, the more I did the mics, I was like, fuck it, just do it. I was going to do it Monday, and I was like, I'll do it Tuesday, and then fuck it, do it every
And
day.
then Wednesday.
And I'm like the type of person, I just steamroll. So if I do one, I don't do anything at.
Do you have like a viewer who watches every single one?
Yeah, well, there's viewers every day, so I'm sure there are. There's people all over. This Pakistan is our biggest listener, so.
No.
I don't know what that's Pakistan. A bunch of little countries.
Popping in
Wait,
Pakistan.
that's nuts.
Yeah, there's Pakistan, there's Turkey, there's New Zealand, Ireland. There's like 10 people.
What about you appeals to
I
Pakistan?
fucking don't. There's one kid that keeps hitting me up. He was like, I want to introduce you to my family. Nah, that happened. I was like, look, I gave him the thumbs up 10 times. I was like, ugh. Like, it's weird.
He definitely has no one else to introduce to his family.
No. He sent me all the pictures of his family. I was like, this is
That's
ISIS.
hilarious.
This is
ISIS.
This is ISIS.
But the thing is, you're not famous enough where like you can be like, you're a weirdo getaway. You're just like,
Yeah.
cool. Keep
No, but
listening.
that shit comes back to haunt you. You start a relationship now.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking
don't
to
meet
this
his
8-year-old?
family, but you can
No.
send emojis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I was
for
like,
sure.
yeah, bye.
Thumbs up
then
emoji.
block that shit. Fuck that. And then all the girls that I date from Happen, they listen. Is that allowed?
Okay.
Interesting.
No,
No, they come in and be like, hey, let me listen to your podcast. I'll go back to Chile and listen to it.
I didn't know if you got girlfriends from the podcast or.
No, definitely lose. Listen to girls forever. Like,
Jimmy,
No,
I was
no,
listening.
no.
I can't help but tell you.
I hate the question, what do you do? And it was like, yeah, a person trying to do podcasts. And I'm like, podcast! And then the stalker comes out,
And
stalker eyes, and they're like,
Yeah.
unless they listen to an episode that was actually funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like there's too much serial. I think at least every other podcast there's serial killer talk, right? That's probably accurate.
Well, that's just like hot right now.
Yeah.
Like everyone thinks they're weird. They're like, I don't know, I'm like weird for liking serial killers. It's like we all like it.
It's
like
fascinating.
murder is great.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. And I try to listen to them. I'm like,
But you like watching movies about them, right? They
No,
did have real evidence. There's something. Well, it's just an examination of like human behavior. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's just crazy that people kill each other.
But it was like a lot of serial killers serious. Like cop could like how many times the cop just walk past the car and it's like there's no body in that. Serial killers used to be lazy. It's like if a cop just looked harder, they would have found
Yeah, because
somebody.
there was no DNA evidence.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's the thing. You could
And-
walk
and-
up to
and-
somebody on the
They
street.
used to send the
I
police
hate
letters.
putting
Yeah.
race out there, but most of them are white guys.
Yeah.
I could never get, as many times as I get stopped by cops, I could never be a serial killer.
No.
Yeah.
They stop me,
Like you'll be stopped
Why
before you
do
even
you-
yeah, before you get a crime. I'd be right next to the guy killing
We
people.
suspect you're about to serial
Yeah, we
kill.
think, what are you doing?
Plus, you're too fit. I feel like serial killers don't work out. You know,
They're
because
usually like thin, but not like muscular.
they have
That's
to
my
use
impression of thin.
objects to hit people.
Yeah, that's how they catch people because nobody's afraid.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's not gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Dude,
Plot twist.
There was one guy who said, I think he was able to fight Dahmer off, and Dahmer just ran away. That would be the
Yeah, I remember
luckiest
that,
guy
yeah.
in the world.
Well, you know the guy with Dahmer. There was a guy that escaped, and like the police saw, like found him, and then Dahmer was like, "Oh, this is my boyfriend. We're in a fight." And the police searched the apartment, and were like, "Okay, nothing's wrong."
No, it was a
No,
Chinese
no.
kid. It was a Chinese
Yeah, the
kid.
craziest part about this story. Okay, so Dahmer cracked open this little Chinese boy's head. He was 14 years old, this kid. Cracked open his head, shot acid into his brain,
Ugh.
and somehow the kid escaped and went out into the street, and the cops were like looking at him, and Dahmer was like, "No, this is my 19-year-old boyfriend. He's fine." And the cops were like, "Oh, all right. Well, that's okay." And then there's like
Talk about a
footage.
bad trip.
Yeah.
There's recordings of the 911 calls of the officers laughing about how like, "Oh, we found this fucking gay kid in the street and his boyfriend came. He's fine. They're just and then he killed the kid.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
That's also the worst, to almost escape, and then it's like,
And then still get caught.
You think you get to
You're
the
meant to
cops
die.
and
The
it's
guy was
like-
like, no, I need to get rid of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dahmer's like, well, I definitely need to kill you now. I was planning on waiting till 5, but
Fuck. Let's see, we wrap this up. What else you got? Any questions? You came in late. Any questions?
No.
How'd you hear about this mic?
Freemics.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Hans. Who's Hans?
Hans Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, Hans. Hans Gim gets a free mic for Hans. All right.
He never even
I'm
comes here.
friends with
What?
Hans.
He's never even here. I've never seen
I've
Hans.
never
actually,
seen
right?
him.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Where can you find him?
He's like a fool.
Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Kev the Comic. I just got both of those recently, so follow me, Pakistani guy.
Or you might not. Kev the Polio. Website?
No website.
Website?
You can follow me on Instagram. That's like where you would find all my stuff. It's Ellen Ullman. It's UHLMANN.
Website?
No.
No website.
No.
Come on.
I've heard you say this every single time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the 1990s. Like, this is like, my parents are always like, why don't you start a blog? I'm like, no one gets famous from a blog anymore. All of my comedy is like, will be on Instagram, like stuff that I've done.
Calling you old, Jimmy.
You still need a website.
But like it
Right?
goes to other websites. Like I've only been in comedy 2 years. Like I don't have enough for a full website.
Yeah.
Plus it's just like
Like you start little at a time. You put a little bit on there.
yeah,
And then it grows.
yeah. Like I have shit on like YouTube and stuff like that, and like yeah, it's just
Because you act too. Do you act yet?
no,
You never been an actor?
no.
Are you going to?
I don't know.
I think agent is when you get a website.
I'm like focusing on stand up.
I can help you with the website.
Do you?
Yeah. Say your name.
Nice to me.
Say your name.
I can help you with it. I'm Jen Hellman.
Jen Hellman. Yeah, good.
Do you wear contacts?
Me?
Yeah.
No, never gotten that question before.
Well,
Yeah, maybe that'll
No,
help.
I
No,
don't
no.
want to be a dick, but literally so many people ask me if I wear glasses or contacts, and it's like, yeah, that was like the first thing we
Right.
tried. Believe it or
Use your
not.
brain dump.
But no, it's because it's blind spots, so it's
Right.
like it doesn't help. Like it's not just God, Jesus, decreased vision.
It's not
Yeah.
blurry.
Another question for you. Have you ever argued with like another blind person? So, like,
I
who can see less?
asked dating. We're good.
Oh no, I haven't. I don't know that many blind people actually. I had dinner with a group of women who have Stargardts, and I didn't like them. So
I've dated handicapped girls, wheelchair bound. But
Okay.
do blind people judge other blind people for like not being as blind?
no, not that I know of. I'm not really like tied into the blind community.
She's a regular person.
Yeah, but I will say you were here. Well, because it's your mic.
Uh-huh.
But a couple like last week or something, a girl like went on after me and talked about how like she was like blind until she put her contacts in. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, because I was like, I can't listen to this. Because I will have people be like, oh, a lot of old people are like, I'm blind too. I'm like, you're just old. Like, it's not the same thing.
But you accept that as like people just use that for phrasing, like how people are like, oh, I'm so deaf, but they're not actually deaf.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing when I disclose it to people when I say I'm legally blind. Like, yeah, like I said, like some people can think it's more minimal than it is.
Right.
Because people overuse it and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I exaggerate too, it's fine.
Jen, you think comics should have websites?
I do.
Why?
I think it helps give credibility, and when bookers are looking at you, they can get your information. And I think I think it's all about connecting with people. So if they liked you, they're going to want to see where you are again. So it's an easy place to go and
Yeah.
see where you're going to be when. Yeah, and put your video up. And if you want to do acting, you just add it up. Yeah, I think it's important.
I just got a website like 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's the folk I'm talking about.
I feel like why I'm apprehensive, the only reason is because I see a lot of people in the scene who focus more on that stuff than they do their actual comedy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sometimes it can be annoying because it's like, okay, great, you have a good headshot, but like you're not funny. So
Yeah.
like,
I'm
But
with you.
eventually,
you gotta do
but
both.
No, I
think
get
it's
it.
never too early to market, but the girls will be separated from the women at the end of the day, or the boys will be separated from the men. You're either gonna get booked, or you're not gonna get booked because your website.
Yeah, the tall people are going to be separate from the short people.
Makes it easier for the bookers.
Yeah, I get you.
I don't know. I'm just trying
And I'd
to,
like to help you with that.
I can,
trying
okay.
to get you some money, Jen.
I can do a website. I'm just saying, like, whatever.
I'm with you, Ellen.
I've been booked like plenty of times without having a website. Just saying.
Now she's bragging.
Yeah. Excuse us.
But I get what you mean. It gives you legitimacy and stuff for sure.
Is that it? That's it? Let's wrap this up. Last question, quick.
You
didn't mean to
mentioned
yell
that, you mentioned that band handicap girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your line?
He's
My
like,
line?
where is she?
I just say I catch them by the elevators, and I say the
He just
elevator's
catches
out of
them.
order, and then I walk them up the steps and I talk, and I say, hey, maybe we should go hang out sometime.
It's amazing because I can't see.
Close it. You can't see?
No, they can't see.
No, they can't walk.
They can't run away.
Can't
No,
run
they
away.
can see.
They're in wheelchair. They can see.
They can
See how strong I am.
They just
carrying
can't do
them
anything
upstairs.
about it.
I carry her in one arm and the wheelchair in the other, and then
But if they're mentally handicapped, that's like the line.
I wouldn't do that. I'd not say wouldn't.
Jimmy.
That I didn't know she
That's
wasn't
just also
mentally.
a different
This is too much. This is
conversation.
too much conversation. Yep.
Yeah, and
Good
that's
job.
also
Thank you for saving the
Yeah.
day. This is another episode of the People's Mic. You can find it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, JimPeoples.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, J Peoples TV. This is the podcast Before the Mic, every day at 2:15, Monday to Friday, followed by the People's Mic, every day, Monday to Friday at the world famous I'm Shrunken Head. Come join us. Give it up for them one more time.